Huntsville attic. It's Rockin' with Rockin' Robbie. And here's your host, Rockin' Robbie.
Hey!
All right.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for stopping back by. This is Rockin' with Rockin' Robbie. I, of course, am Rockin' Robbie. Thank you. We are coming to you live from Huntsville Attic, our favorite place. Tonight is a very special night. Tonight is our haunted Halloween super spooktacular special. Yeah!
All right.
Woohoo! Yes. We got the usual gang of misfits with us tonight, of course. To my left, ever faithful, jumping and jiving James. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Right.
How you doing?
I'm doing. I love
Awesome.
you, James.
Thank you. Also, right in front of me, ever non-faithful, maniacal Mike. Yes, everybody give it to him.
We know how you doing.
And ever faithful
What's up?
and unfaithful at the same time. He is an infidel.
No.
It is Kinky Kevin, audio
Hey, it's
engineer
me. Hi.
extraordinaire.
Hi.
Yes, everybody!
The Kingston.
How are you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing, man.
We love you all. We love you all.
Thank you. Thank you guys for listening tonight. Of course, as I
thanks,
said,
everybody.
Especially Kevin.
Haunted Halloween Super Spooktacular Special. And as always, we started with our opening shot. Tonight brought to us, since it's Halloween time, something orange. Orange juice and Pinnacle Whip to everybody. Something simple, but always a favorite. All right, let's start.
How come I always kill mine first?
Halloween. I think we all like Halloween here, don't you think?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say we all kind of love it.
All right. Well, last week on Mike's show, the Smiler Show, we covered Halloween movies, horror movies and such, right?
Yeah, more horror than Halloween, but
But it was very fun.
very much so.
So I figured we have talked enough about movies.
Have we ever really talked enough about movies?
Never. But let's talk about Halloween. Start off with the history of Halloween. What is it? Anybody know anything about the history of Halloween? What it comes from?
I think you do.
You go to
Something
the.
about
you go-
Sam Hain or something?
Sam Hain, which
Solomon,
is actually
whatever.
well, I thought it was you go out to a field and hang out, and the great pumpkin arises.
that is true as well.
That does happen quite a bit.
Yes. Of course, what James is referring to is the ancient Celtic and Gaelic festival of Samhain.
No, he was
Spelled so that
Samhain.
a lot of people call it Sam Hain. It was a medieval celebration of Summer's End. Basically, marked the end of the light half of the year and the beginning of the dark half of the year. They would do ritual sacrifices for the good of the harvest, like fruit and animals, and
like
even
fruit
in
and
times
babies.
of bad harvest times, bad years, very important people, human sacrifice actually. So some of Halloween is actually
crazy.
Oh yeah, we've discovered that some of Halloween is actually really embedded in some dark
Evil?
stuff. Evil, maybe is human sacrifice evil? I don't know. If it's part of your religion, I don't know. Constitution guarantees freedom of religion, but I don't know. The church gets involved. The Catholic Church. Pope Gregory III actually moved the Catholic Feast of All Saints Day to coincide with Samhain, to of course lessen the appeal to the lower people of the pagan holiday. And, a lot of modern Celts actually do celebrate it as the Celtic New Year. So it's not really that everybody that celebrates Samhain in modern times is an evil human sacrificer. That was the rare occasion back in the day.
A rarity, huh?
Yes, indeed. I know some of the people here with
Just
me.
a little bit Wicker Man, but only sometimes.
Yes, indeed. I know that
we've talked about movies now.
I know that James has seen Wicker Man. I know that James has seen Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. So you know a little bit about this.
Hold on. Quick question. Mm-hmm. Which version of the Wicker Man? The original.
The
Or
original.
the remake?
There is no
No
remake.
Well, then what was the one with Nicolas Cage?
We don't talk
There
about
is
that
no
movie.
remake. So,
My bad. I'm sorry.
so that's very interesting to learn,
Yeah,
of
whatever.
course. What does anybody know about the history of the jack-o'-lantern?
The Jack-o'-lantern?
Yes, indeed.
Well, I had always heard that they were, one of the things you put out to scare off the demons, whatever.
That is very much true.
Oh,
a lot
wow, I'm
of people
actually
believe that the light of the jack-o'-lantern reveals the undead, specifically in the folklore vampires for what they truly are, and then therefore they go away from the house because they've been revealed. So that's very interesting. That is steeped in legend.
Were they
I
originally?
also know that it's a 311 song.
Yes, it is. Jack-o'-lantern's weather.
Were they originally pumpkins?
The kid is smart. The kid is clever. Stomping in Jack-o'-lantern's weather.
Robbie.
Yes, Kinky.
Were
Kevin.
they originally pumpkins that were used?
They were not originally pumpkins that were used. Back in the olden days, it was a
Gourds.
very popular thing to make lanterns out of vegetables. And what was used in Great Britain, Wales, England, Ireland, all that shit over there. They used turnips. Turnips were the original jack-o'-lanterns.
Turnips.
The legend of jack-o'-lantern is
Yeah, I
actually
guess it gets some
similar.
giant turnips, though.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's why they adopted pumpkins. I'll get to that in a second. But it's
Okay.
similar to the Will-o'-the-Wisp legend that's told throughout England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. But the old Irish tale of Stingy Jack is where the jack-o'-lantern myth comes from. Basically what happens is he is a thief, a scoundrel, and the time for his death comes and the devil comes to get him. Well, he, through some kind of elaborate ruse which changes throughout which legend you hear, he traps the devil. And he makes the devil promise to never come for his soul as long as he releases him. So he releases him, the devil promises to never take his soul again. Well, he leads a sinful life of theft. So he eventually dies, and he can't go to heaven. Well, of course, he can't go to hell because the devil has promised he can't take his soul. So he
conundrum.
whines to the devil and says, "What should I do?" Because being a shade, a ghost, he could not see anything on this mortal plane because he wasn't a part of it, but he was destined to roam it for all eternity. So mockingly, the devil gave him an never-ending ember from the fires of hell itself. And Jack put it in a turnip and walked the earth and known as Jack of the Lanterns, which eventually became Jack-o'-lanterns.
Interesting.
Then, of course, Europeans traveling to the New World found pumpkins, and they were
They're
much
like, whoa,
easier.
that shit's way easier.
So that's where it all comes from. And the belief that Jack-o'-lantern himself is a ghost wandering aimlessly and restlessly throughout the world, that his light from the jack-o'-lantern will protect you from the undead and all other things. That's a very interesting and kind of creepy story. It is absolutely crazy. 100 countries, over 100 countries, celebrate Halloween annually. And in America, 85 to 90% of all households with children celebrate Halloween. It's the second biggest revenue maker
How can you not celebrate
with
the
over
Candy Day?
$7 billion made on average over the last few years between costumes,
day.
decorations, and
Wow.
Halloween. And yeah, candy and all that.
I guess people are getting more into it like they are Christmas.
Anybody got a favorite Halloween candy?
Candy corn.
That's a horrible candy, sir. How could that
I
be a
can't-
favorite?
I eat it on Halloween, though. Right?
Yeah,
It sucks. I go for the peanut butter shaped pumpkins covered in chocolate.
Oh, yeah, those are
those
very
are good,
nice.
too,
The
yeah.
Reese's one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, but then again, it's a Reese's, so you get it. I can get a
Hey.
Reese's cup any time of the year.
But you can't get one shaped like a pumpkin any time of the year.
You know those
yeah, no,
crazy
but
little...
candy corn's like,
You can get candy corn any time of the
You
year.
know those
I'm pretty
crazy
sure.
I only
like-
buy it during Halloween. So
Well, okay, I only buy, pumpkin shaped.
That's the only time they sell
Kinda
them. If
like
they
the
sold them in
kinda
July,
like-
you would buy them.
Kind of
I
like the
would.
Snickers Easter eggs that are only sold at Easter.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if they sold them now, I'd buy them.
you would.
I don't care as long as it's Reese's peanut butter. It has more peanut butter than the normal Reese's cup. That's why it's
does.
so much
Just
better.
like the Christmas
Then just buy, like, the
trees,
giant
You get the
Yeah.
football. The
the
footballs
bunnies
are
or whatever.
out, so it's really fun. Kinky
Yeah.
Kevin, you got one?
I like it when it comes with a razor blade in it. I mean, it's like you've won something. You know what I'm saying?
I was taught that whenever someone gave you an apple, if it wasn't candied or carameled, that it had razor blades in it, and you were supposed to then throw it through the window of that person's house. And I did that a couple times. I
Really?
will admit it. I think maybe I shouldn't admit that.
Yeah, probably not.
Were you just pissed that they gave you an apple?
Because I'm pretty sure that I've heard about that myth.
Do you ever get
people-
toothbrushes?
Yes, constantly.
Of the people who did the razor blades or whatever in candy and stuff.
Oh,
gave it to
yeah.
people.
You,
And you know what? The one fact I did hear about that. Whenever it does happen, it's never someone giving a stranger candy like that. It's always giving it to someone you're related to or you personally know.
All right.
So if it's a stranger on Halloween,
Stranger, no
more
danger.
likely the candy's okay. However, if it's just in the middle of a parking lot and the guy's creepy and has a mustache, it's never okay.
All right. Well, speaking of trick or treating, let's talk about trick or treating.
There's one thing that I always hated about trick or treating.
What?
You know how like the
Plastic
people
orange pumpkin.
No, the people that don't want to partake, they participate, but don't. They just leave the big candy bowl.
Yeah.
And like
You get there and there's no candy.
you get there
in
and
that
there's
bowl.
nobody
Because one
there.
jackass took all of the
Because like the
candy.
first person that got there was just like, it's all mine.
But according to the movie Trick or Treat, he got hunted down and killed.
Yeah, so don't do that.
You know, well, in a neighborhood of 50 kids, it's kind of hard to find sometimes.
But I did like going to the rich neighborhoods when you're a kid, though, and sometimes getting a whole candy bar instead of like the fun size ones everybody else is giving out.
Oh, yeah.
That was very clutch and
There was this
strategic.
lady in the neighborhood I grew up that
Oh,
would
yes,
give
indeed. Fun
like
time,
popcorn
fun time.
balls. They were like balls of popcorn, caramelized and all that shit, and sugar coated. It was so good. So, trick or treating. It's funny that tricking is first because that's what came first.
Of course, the trick always comes first.
Yes, indeed. The Feast of All Saints, of course, coincided with Samhain. All Saints Day became All Hallows Eve, which became Halloween. And then on Halloween, it was very notorious for kids and young adults to play pranks. But eventually, over the years, it escalated to such a point that there was like people throwing shit through windows, fucking coming at old people in the middle of the night. I mean, like breaking into people's houses, arson. Exactly. Like going crazy. And
Devil's Night.
so the communities by the 30s decided they had to do something about this. And what they did was pretty much nationwide. They organized house-to-house parties, which we come to know as trick-or-treating. And it would be people would go from house to house and go inside and have treats and snacks and all that stuff. Of course, trick-or-treating almost has another older origin all the way back in the Middle Ages in Great Britain and Ireland. They did something called souling. I find this very creepy. I want to put it into a movie. Kids, children, and poor people would go house to house and sing prayers for the dead of the families in the house in exchange for cakes. That's very interesting to me. So basically treats, trick or treat is blackmail. It's like you're going to give us some treats and we're not going to fuck up your house.
So, in other words, if I go to somebody's house
I'm
and
liking Halloween more.
sing and do a memorial of their, dead relative, I should get a cake?
I guess so. I don't know.
I guess you'd have to only sing for people you know.
I think that's the context of the time, actually, Mike. Earlier today, of
That'd
course,
be a lot of cake.
all day today, I was talking with people on Facebook about why they love Halloween and things like that. And Paul Edwards said one of his favorite things about Halloween was because what other holiday can you dress up and bang on other people's doors and get candy instead of getting shot? That's very much true. It's trick-or-treating, if you think about it, it's very awkward. Is it not?
Yeah. I didn't get to do it much.
You have to go knock on a tremendous amount of doors of people you don't know.
Yeah. And they just give you fucking candy.
And, sometimes you have to put up with people saying really stupid things about your costumes or completely missing the point of your costume.
What are you supposed to be?
Speaking of
Well,
costumes.
No shit, I'm a fucking Indian. Motherfucker.
Anybody know traditionally why you wear costumes on Halloween?
Was it to disguise yourself so you were not one of you were one of the demons,
That
not
is, of course, the popular 20th and 21st century legend, of course, that you disguise yourself so the dead they think you're one of them. That's what we all grew up believing, and that adds a really cool mystery to Halloween. I always loved the idea, even though I deep down inside didn't believe it, that the dead walked that one night. I really like it. I also like in the show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
came from the
That's the
bowels
one
of
night of the
hell.
year that all the supernatural creatures just stay in. They don't do anything. I think that's really funny.
well, they're being mocked.
Yes, indeed. So costumes kind of evolved into the holiday because of all the holidays that involve costumes. Carnival, Feast of All Saints Day itself. Kids would dress up as saints and people would dress up as the dead and the Day of the Dead. And it just all morphed into Halloween and it got commercialized in the 50s and the 60s. And there you go. And Halloween has become what we know today. And we will talk about that.
It's a marketing tool.
But we have now come to the time of our first break. And as always, we're going to end with the question of the day. Question of the day is, what is your favorite Halloween memory? Also, right now, I always want to say you didn't hear it on the theme tonight because it's the Halloween, the Haunted Halloween Super Spooktacular Special.
Super spooktacular.
But a local Huntsville band, Flux Capacitor Overdrive, they are the ones responsible for the theme song you normally hear on our show, which is called Thanatos. Seeing as how I see it as that is Day of the Dead and Halloween appropriate, that's what you get to hear on the break, kiddies. Please listen. We will be right back after Flux Capacitor Overdrive with Thanatos.
Around you, does they give you a fright? They speak of things displeasing, and I can hear what they say. They say they're gonna swallow you whole, they're gonna take you away.
welcome back, everybody. That was Flux Capacitor Overdrive with Thanatos. Our usual theme song. Hope you enjoyed hearing it in full. Check them out. So,
No early doing the shot.
second half, everybody. Time
Cool
for the
and
second half
crisp.
shot. Everybody get ready. Let's roll it down.
Yeah.
Roll it down.
Roll it down.
Roll it down.
All right. Thank you for coming back. We are rocking with Rockin' Robbie. I am Rockin' Robbie. With me is Jumpin' and Jivin' James, Maniacal
Oh,
Mike,
yeah.
and Kinky Kevin.
Hey.
What's up?
And we are talking about Halloween because tonight is our haunted Halloween super spectacular special. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Before we left for break, I asked you the question of the day. What is your favorite Halloween memory? Let's start us off, Maniacal Mike.
Well, I have to say that I was in Florence, and we had a big Halloween party. Hell in the Hill. I talked about this before in the Spirits
Yes, indeed.
episode. And it's essentially the time I saw. Well, it's actually the day after Halloween, but the Halloween party was fun and awesome and just really cool being in a house surrounded by black tarp and you can't see anything and you're bumping into people and you got black lights guiding your way and seeing the ghost. So I'm pretty sure I had some greater ones when I was a kid running around knocking on doors, getting that maybe.
So going to an awesome party and seeing a ghost
Yes.
is one of your best Halloween memories. That's a good answer. Jumpin' and Jivin' James. What is your favorite Halloween memory?
Do tell.
My favorite Halloween memory, probably from when I was like, 7 or 8, I guess. The whole going out trick or treating, and then going to like the local youth center, YMCA, whatever, and going to the cool party that's going on there after you've gone out and trick or treat a little bit.
Yeah.
Bobbing for apples, all that kind of stuff.
Fun
The things that
Halloween
you
stuff.
hear about people doing a lot, but never really happen all that often.
Almost like a fall festival.
Yeah.
Well, growing up a church kid, I got to experience a lot of that, bobbing for apples and all that kind of stuff, fall festivals.
Yeah.
And they did them in schools.
Yeah,
The
they did too.
cakewalk and all that
Yeah,
stuff. The dunking booth. That's fun stuff.
The grand
Yeah,
prize.
I
game,
enjoyed, when you got to make it a lot of fun when you were a kid.
beanbag toss.
That's cool. Because in the movies and shit, when you're growing up, all the Halloween movies, Halloween is so epically celebrated by the community.
Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't feel to be the case here in Huntsville, does it?
No.
Gosh darn Bible Belt.
Kinky Kevin,
We just
Yes.
got good beer.
do you have a favorite Halloween memory?
Well, I didn't really have any growing up. I'm loud in the mic. I really didn't have many growing up. I went to church, trunk or treats, fall festivals.
That just
place
sounds
to
like a
abduct
scary
children?
place, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't look forward to it because I wasn't getting the real thing. So I guess my favorite would be.
It's like only being given Diet Coke when you were a kid or something.
Pretty much. I mean, you still got candy, so you went, but it sucked. Anyway, my favorite was celebrating it with my kids. Their first Halloween was also really kind of my first Halloween. So I got to dress them up and go out trick-or-treating with them for my first time. So,
That is a very good memory.
That's a very heartfelt,
yeah.
That was.
nice moment.
I got a quick question. And I love Kevin's story. I think that's the best out of everybody. So, and I know. But did you ever you go to the fall festivals?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, man.
You go to those, and there's the kids that got the sugar-free candy. And you look in your bag, and you it's like, man, I don't like this, but I like that. And you want to trade, yeah.
Trading candy. I
And
do
then
remember that.
the kid with the sugar-free candy was just like, I'm sorry, I can't trade any of mine. And it's just like, why not, dude? What's up? All my stuff's sugar-free. Do you
Yeah,
got
it
anything
was that-
sugar-free? And you're like,
They were
no.
round, right? In
Yeah,
the clear
they're
plastic.
round and
yeah.
the multicolored. Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
candy, kid.
Yeah, that's
there
bad.
you go.
Oh, I hated those. I really did.
And
I hated them.
And I always felt bad because it's just like, there'd be maybe a handful of those kids.
I would hate it when people would give me mint gum.
Ugh.
Ugh. Absolutely. My personal favorite Halloween memory. My mother one time took me and my friends, because we had just done a house haunt, which is something we will talk about later. And we all got in the back of the truck and we went around and we were egging people out of the back of the trunk toilet paper in, all that stuff. I mean, I've been into Halloween. I can't tell you how much I love Halloween. And my mother did too. And we were just celebrating. It was fun. Me and a bunch of friends and my mom. She drove us into Maple Hill Cemetery. And then the truck died. So we all got out and started trying to push it. She's like, I'm out of gas. We got to push it. And as soon as we all got out, she took off. She left us at Maple Hill Cemetery after dark on Halloween night for about 20 to 30 minutes while there were cops patrolling. So the cops showed up, and we all had to separate and hide behind tombstones on Halloween night at Maple Hill Cemetery. It was so fucking scary, dude.
Wow.
And it still remains one of my favorite Halloween memories. So we asked a few people online today why they love Halloween.
What did the fans have to say?
Chris Wallace said caramel apples. Actually, he said caramel apple suckers.
Yeah, much easier to
But
eat.
caramel apples are
Yes.
good too. Robbie Brueggemann said horror movie marathons, to which Jesse Powell replied, of course, and the AMC Monster Fest,
Yes.
which inspired our Horror Fest, which is a 2-month-long, nothing but horror movie all throughout September and October. That's all we do, people. And as you know, because we've been keeping you updated on it.
Oh yeah.
But indeed, it's always fun.
I think I'm going to skip work and have to watch some of these with y'all.
Amber Betterly
Most
said making
definitely
costumes
should.
and coming up with costumes ideas is her favorite part of Halloween.
And she is an awesome costume designer.
Indeed, last year she was a zombie Snow White, which I thought was genius. And Josh Spencer, an old buddy of mine, said, Ernest Scared Stupid. Watching that movie every year is what he loves about Halloween.
That's a good one.
That's a
Great
good thing to love.
answers all. Back to Amber's thing about costumes.
Right.
We all love costumes.
Yeah.
And I
doesn't
asked a
love
bunch of
dressing
people
up?
also what they love to wear as their costume. Bill Valentine said a sheet. Lynn Cook said her favorite was a vampire. Tons of answers. Rob Godwin said Jedi Luke from Return of the Jedi. Tons of costumes. If you
say
don't have a
Godwin?
costume idea yet, Kinky Kevin has got the answer for you. We bring you Halloween costume tips by Kinky Kevin.
Yeah.
They probably all
right.
involve whips and chains.
Yeah, all of them.
It's Geeky Kevin. What can I say?
Well, I have the least experience in this, so this should be good. All right, 4 categories here. Funny and easy, like dumb costumes. Offensive, sexy for ugly people. Oh, and one more, classics. All right, we'll go through them quick. If you want a funny, dumb, easy idea, you can dress up as Progressive's Flo. Just put on a white, polo shirt and put Progressive on it. You're done. Okay, obviously you have to look like her. You could put a dollar bill.
Yeah, that would not work for Maniacal Mike.
Right. Otherwise, you're just an
I gotta shave
insurance
the beard.
salesman. If you put a dollar bill on each ear and go as nothing but that, you are a buccaneer. That's real good.
A buccaneer, I like that.
My favorite: get a group of people together, dress in nothing but green, and you are gangrene.
Oh,
Yeah.
Man,
I
I
like that
don't
one.
know if that even deserves a clap, guys.
I think we should go as Gangrene one year.
I think it's pretty funny. Okay, offensive costumes. You could always be just paint your face black if you're white, and go
I
as.
don't know if that's ever a good idea.
Wow.
No, these are offensive.
I think the Human Torch idea is better than that one.
Yeah.
Well, okay. You could go as Steve Irwin with a barb in his chest. Yeah.
That's actually kind of funny, I guess.
If you're a zombie, it works.
Yeah, zombie Steve Irwin. That's a good idea.
Well, yeah, that is good.
Celebrities and being zombies of celebrities in the way that they died, I think is tasteful,
Okay.
to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Sexy ideas are easy. You can wear a toga. Obviously, if you've got the body for it, you're good. Michael Phelps.
Toga.
Miss America, all you need is a bathing suit and a piece of paper that says, your state or your name or whatever. All right. For ugly people, you can do a paper bag with no holes. You could be white trash, which is just grab a trash bag, put it around you, fill it with trash, stick some on your head, whatever. You could be a bag lady or a hobo, which is just, shitty clothes and a bag of shit. All right.
And a bag of shit?
Right,
That's kinda
yeah.
stinky.
a lot of people on Halloween carry bags of shit.
Yes, they do.
And last but not least, the classics, which would be like a ghost, put a sheet, cut the holes out. Be a serial killer, which is put little cereal boxes all over you with knives in them, blood running down, stupid, funny. And then there you have it.
Well, that's really cool. Thank you, Kevin,
No problem.
who is kinky. for those
Kinky Kevin.
excellent suggestions, of which my favorite is gangrene. Halloween. So Halloween. We all love Halloween, do we not? Everybody here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Love it.
Holler if you love Halloween.
Yeah, I love it.
Holla, holla, holla.
That's very nice. So let's get back to the age of wonder and curiosity.
Right.
When you were a child, what did you love about Halloween? Maniacal Mike.
Really?
Really?
Candy.
Candy.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what you love about Halloween.
Man, you could like Kevin's party or costume ideas. Man, you could just throw a sheet over your head, cut 2 holes out, and you'd be like trick or treat. Give me
That
some
is
candy.
true. I was always more elaborate in my love for Halloween. Like, I love Halloween. I love making costumes. I love coming up with my idea. I always come up with my idea like 3 years before. And I love it, man. And when I was a kid, I loved trick-or-treating. But what I loved mostly about it was that there was more horror movies on TV, that, the candy was a big deal, but that there were horror movies. And one of my favorite things to do during Halloween from when I was a kid, it carries over to today, is going to stores like Spencer's or Party City and looking at the Halloween costumes, buying decorations, and I keep them up year round. I mean, I love that shit. I know Jumping and Jiving James. When you were a kid, did you love Halloween?
Oh yeah, I loved Halloween. I mean, I loved the that certain feeling that you get in Halloween. When you're out walking through the streets, the leaves are starting to have fallen a lot, and there's leaves blowing across the sidewalk. There's a little bit of a chill in the air because here in Alabama, of course, we don't get really cold until a little bit later here.
Yeah, mostly.
So you're just starting to get into that briskness of the weather. Then, just starting to cool down, and
Perfect. I love
just
it.
the whole that whole feeling like the sun
Football.
going down. You might have played a game of football earlier that evening, and now you've gone home, you got your costume, you're going out. It's just the whole feeling of it.
I love it. I loved going to school on Halloween because usually we didn't have to do too much work. There were lots of parties. Everybody would get to come in their costume.
Right.
The class Halloween party. Yeah.
Kinky Kevin said he lived a more restricted childhood.
Yeah.
So basically, is there anything you loved about Halloween when you were a child except for
Well, I mean,
trunk or treats and fall festivals?
which was all the same shit except not as cool. So I mean, candy and games and
Yeah.
all the same things. I saw Halloween as something that I couldn't be involved in, so I had to find ways to
I grew up loving horror movies and all things classic horror. And it was always cool to me for like a whole month to be surrounded everywhere I went by it. And I love that. It's one of my absolute favorite things about Halloween. That's why I love it. That's why a lot of people love it. That's why I love horror movies, horror fest. Halloween's like a 2-month thing for me now, man. It's crazy. My favorite holiday, no doubt.
Soon to be 6 months.
Yeah, possibly.
One of these days, we'll celebrate it year round.
All right. Well, if you are an adult and you have children, they are going to want to trick or treat. And as I doubt there are any children listening to this podcast, and if so, you're a bad parent.
Yes. You should be watching that.
But we got some safety tips for you. It's always important, Halloween safety. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jumpin' and Jivin' James presents Halloween Safety Tips.
Whoa.
Be
It's
safe.
loud. We got to be careful, guys.
Oh, my
Oh,
bad.
careful.
You're right. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
Well,
Watch out for the broken
obviously,
glass.
a couple easy safety tips. First off, incorporate some colors into your costumes so people can see you in dark neighborhoods and stuff when you have to cross the street and everything. You don't want to be invisible.
Reflective
Even though it's
colors.
awesome, to be dark and, able to sneak up on people on Halloween, it's not safe.
When you mean dark, you mean like blackface?
No, I do not mean Kinky Kevin's idea of going in paint.
Okay.
Just have something, even if it's just your bag that you're carrying your candy and stuff, and that would be a little bit flashy.
Like when we were kids in school and they would give everybody reflective vests and bright orange straps to wear.
Just go as a strobe light.
That stuff. Pay attention to the house you're going up to. If there's not many lights on, stay away from it. You don't want to have that angry guy who doesn't like Halloween coming at you.
That is true.
And of course, the most obvious one, always take a look at the candy you got.
Always check your candy.
At least you don't know what you're eating, Because, hey, maybe you got a peanut allergy. You don't eat candy that has peanuts in it.
Who is it?
Or
That kind of
cyanide.
Yeah, anything, you know.
Somebody here in town, I can't remember if it's the police or it's one of the,
Some places do, I think,
Some
offer
of the
X-ray
scanning,
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, that seems a little out of the ordinary, but you know,
you
I
never
guess you
know.
can't be too safe.
Just
But
use a
that seems-
magnet.
And if you get an apple, throw it through the window.
Right.
Exactly. Don't
Unless
eat
it's
apples.
got caramel or candy on it.
Right.
Anything else, James?
I mean, those are going to be the big ones, you know. Be visible, know where you're going, know what you're eating.
Everybody's got their own traditions to holidays. Things you like to do on 4th of July, on Christmas, on New Year's, on Thanksgiving. Anybody got a favorite thing to do on Halloween? Jumping in, Jive and James.
Other than, of course, Horror Fest, but I mean that's a whole month, so it's not really a
2
thing.
months.
You know, yeah,
2
2 months now.
Yes.
That's not our favorite thing to do on Halloween. I would say one of my favorite things is actually carving pumpkins.
Carving pumpkins.
It's
Excellent.
lame, but you know what? You can have fun with it.
We talked about the history of the jack-o'-lantern, but
Scooping the
didn't...
innards out of something and throwing them
Absolutely.
away.
I'm gonna carve a. I'm gonna
That's
carve a
creepy,
turnip.
James.
I'm carving a turnip this year.
Yeah, let's do turnips. this
We
year.
didn't really talk too much about us doing jack-o'-lanterns. Like, what's your favorite jack-o'-lantern you've ever done, James?
The favorite one I've ever done, huh? Well, I think the one I did like 2 years ago was pretty good. I mean, it was a basic idea, the basic pumpkin kind of look, except for I made the eyes kind of goofy, so it actually looked like it was a slightly stoned pumpkin.
The goofy-eyed stone jack-o'-lantern is always a good variant on
Yeah.
the idea.
Yeah.
Of course, the typical jack-o'-lantern carving is actually a death face. It's got the
Yes.
death grin. It's got the skeletal nose.
Yep.
The hollow dark eyes.
I like doing the very skeleton nose, the two little holes type thing.
Kinky Kevin, do you got a favorite pumpkin you've ever carved? I can
Well-
think of one.
It's only been one,
What is that?
and that's the basement show pumpkin.
I'm actually
right.
really glad that he said that because you know what?
Yeah.
I was with him when he carved that pumpkin.
Yes, he
We
did.
did
He-
it here.
Yep.
He
It was
carved
awesome.
a pumpkin with the basement show written on it, which those in the know, and those who don't know will find out one day.
Yep. There you
Yes.
Maniacal Mike, do you have a favorite pumpkin you've ever carved?
Just your basic death face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that it's a death face. Smiling, isn't it? Just saying. The original,
Isn't death always smiling?
yeah, always. The original turnip ones were very creepy looking. I saw a picture online, and
I was imagine they look kind of like shrunken heads.
yeah, they look like shrunken heads. They just got like a wide open, flat mouth and 2 hollow eyes. That's about it. My personal favorite pumpkin that I've ever carved, I did a wolf howling in the moonlight. So it was the moon, and you saw the
did you use,
silhouette
like
of the wolf.
kit?
I did use the kit, but it worked very well, and I wouldn't have been able to do it any other way. Of course, at the Deep Comics and Games where I work, many times they've done the Batman animated series logo
Ooh,
in a pumpkin, which is a great one.
that's a good one.
And it's awesome. Let us know what you think. We got a week of Halloween festivities left, so get on our Facebook and our website. Let us know about your favorite Halloween jack-o'-lanterns and send us pictures if you have. We'll put up the basement show one.
That'll be awesome.
It'll be awesome. So that's a good tradition. My favorite Halloween tradition, growing up, my mother, it was a big part of Halloween growing up was my mother. She loved it. Big part of why I love Halloween and horror movies, I'm sure. So, but every year I don't know why, but just because the weather was getting cooler or whatever, and we would have friends over a lot doing haunts and shit like that, she would make a giant pot of chili. And every year for as long as I can remember, I remember chili on Halloween. And my sisters and me continue that tradition. Even James has helped continue that tradition. So
Well, I mean, I love to cook, and one of my favorite dishes is chili. So
chili. We all love chili.
I think I've cooked it, several thousand times, and I think I've cooked several thousand different recipes of chili. It's a versatile dish.
Do you
It's
add
definitely-
coffee to your chili?
I have not. I've added cocoa to my chili.
Like, just add, make a pot of coffee and add like 2 or 3 cups into it.
I have a little white
That'll be
wine
an
in my
interesting one to
chili.
do. Maybe if I do the coffee and steep the dried chilies in that, and then blend that together, I bet that'd be an excellent idea.
Very
I see Robbie making notes beside me now. He's like, I
Absolutely.
know what I'm doing next year to beat you.
In my chili, I put a little bit of white wine in it and turkey bacon. Believe it or not.
Turkey
Yes,
bacon?
turkey bacon. Lots of chunky veggies too.
Oh yeah.
But chili's a fun tradition in my family, and we continue it, and it's awesome. Eventually, we'll probably start the first official Halloween chili cook-off in Huntsville or whatever.
That'd be a good
So
one to
you
do.
would
I just
say-
realized I forgot our opening shot for the third part of the show, everybody. Let's do this
All right,
shot
let's
real
do
quick.
this shot
To
now.
my mother and to chili.
Yep.
So here
Mother
we go.
arms and
It's
chili.
a Halloween. And our favorite memories.
So would you say it's a family tradition?
Everything is a family tradition with me.
Tell me, Robbie,
Mike, you got a favorite
why
Halloween
do
tradition other
you
than just
drink?
getting candy for free?
I love to watch the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
Ooh, the Treehouse
Very
of
nice.
Horror.
And it's always nice too, especially when Halloween is not on the Sunday.
Even though, unfortunately, sometimes because of things like the World Series, it usually sometimes will air after
A week after,
Halloween.
Yeah, that's
I wish
one
they
of
get
the
on the
bad
ball
things
with that.
about Fox. Catching up in these sporting areas.
I would rather
Now
have it the
cuts
week
into
before,
stuff.
like 2 weeks before Halloween, at least in
Yeah.
the month of October.
Well, I mean, I
real.
don't mind because, like I said, downtown's pretty
You just
busy.
love it. And plus, you can watch the old ones on DVD.
And
But
plus,
you
also,
can't.
that's when you know for sure you're going to see the aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been looking forward to this all night. Maniacal Mike presents Halloween Prank Tips. Yes, everybody. Devil's Night. Night of
Well,
Mischief.
Technically,
Let's blow
Devil's
some shit
Night.
up.
The night before.
Devil's Night is the night before.
Yeah,
And
Mischief
Yes,
Night. Or
and
the
that's
Devil's
when
Night.
you can somehow, become a crow.
I've done some infamous. That's true.
Well, what I was going to get to is with Devil's Night. If you don't really know what that is, just go and watch Brandon Lee's The Crow, and it's a great way.
It's
Devil's
apparently
Night.
the night you totally fuck up a city, burn
Yeah.
everything down.
You burn
I
it
don't know how that
down, make it
works.
explode. You know.
Yeah, wasn't that the thing in
night
that movie that there was the guy
They
who
drove
was burning everything?
dicks. I don't know why I started singing that song.
I don't know.
Wow.
It's,
At first, I
uh,
thought it was about burning. Then I realized it wasn't. They
No.
drove it down, not burned it down.
Yeah.
When you're younger, destroying,
Inappropriate.
knocking over headstones was kind of fun, but
I
not
never
really
did that.
now. No, I never did it.
I
but
never
No,
did
I
that.
never did that
But,
one.
I saw
I've
too
always-
many horror movies to do that.
I've seen a lot of kids in school were like, "Oh, we went to
So is that an
Maple Hill and
acceptable
knocked
prank? Knocking over.
Well, it's a Devil's Night kind of thing, but not a
Okay.
Halloween
Yeah.
prank. But Halloween pranks, you got the toilet paper in the yard, the flaming bag of poo.
Flaming
Ooh,
bag
the
of
flaming
poo.
bag of
Always a
poo.
classic.
I mean, the best part is when they stomp it out.
At least when you're stomping out, you're like, I had to
It's
stomp
shit
out this
again.
flaming bag of poo, but at least this guy had to scoop up and find all this poo and collect it together. So
That's also true. But,
forks-
he didn't have it smushed into his shoe.
true. Forks in the yard.
Yeah.
We always did the little plastic forks, not the sporks.
Well,
'Cause you
see,
could get
the
it-
thing
you
with the
could-
spork,
I never did the fork in the yard.
No,
thing. That
because
sounds
see, the
very
thing is, with the
cruel,
fork
guys.
in the yard, with the spork, you can't. It just sticks up.
But people can see it, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing is, the forks in the yard.
Well, see, the
When
thing
they go to pull the fork out, 9 times out of 10, the handle will break. So,
Well, what you do when you do the sporks, you put them in and then you stomp them a little bit. So only part of it sticking out. So when they go to pull it, it does the same thing, kind of.
yeah, and that's
It just fucks up the yard.
A little bit. Not. It's not the worst prank in the world.
it's
because
not
all-
the worst thing in the world, but it's just like you run.
Someone
over.
has to spend like
You either
maybe
pull
2
them out or
hours
you
pulling forks out of his yard.
It's
That
about
does sound fun. I've never heard
But
of
you know
that.
what? My one thing with pranks though is they don't really pay off because you're almost never there to see them.
True.
That's true.
You're not like haha staring at that guy digging
One of
forks out of his
the,
yard.
But that would
You
be.
only have to imagine it later.
One
That's
of-
how you get caught.
One of them in
That is so true.
one of them
Never
in high-
show up to the scene of the crime, guys.
one of them in high school was to light a roll of toilet paper on fire and throw it at ongoing cars.
That wow. That
Wow.
seems
Where
to.
the heck were you?
That
Mike?
seems to go
Scratch
beyond.
that.
That's
prank
way
into
beyond.
Scratch
Scratch
that.
Maybe we would have tossed an
Terrorizing.
egg at the
You
car.
did no.
maybe.
You tossed eggs, but then you'd be like,
Yeah, eggs are a little. Eggs are pranking.
right, but then
Flaming rolls of toilet paper is terror.
Terror,
It's
yeah.
terrorizing people. That's what the
I don't
villains do
know
in
what-
Die Hard movies and shit.
that's
dude.
look. I was also with the same group that lit a bowling ball on fire and rolled it down a hill to scare
How
people.
do you light a bowling ball on fire?
Lots
Easily.
and lots of lighter fluid.
That catches on fire?
Yes. And you just roll
I
it
don't know
down the
why,
hill.
but for some reason I just don't see a bowling ball catching on fire.
Well, you
very
fill
easily.
up the finger holes first, right?
Yes.
Then you coat the whole outside of it, light the
Yes.
outside, and then start rolling it, and then
And so, like,
there's more
what's the
flames, so you-
coating of a bowling ball?
What's
it's
they're usually
in-
made out of like kind of some kind of rock or something, right?
No,
Like-
it's
Because rock
very
doesn't really
heavy.
burn and melt at like lighter fluid.
No, I think
No,
it's
it's
actually
like-
like
it's
some
like-
kind of acrylic or something, right?
acrylic, like hard. You
Yeah.
know, and-
Okay, so you get like
like
the
hard
outside of it on
plastic.
fire or whatever.
Yeah, and then you just roll it down the hill
To where?
to whoever's at the bottom of the hill.
That's fucked up.
Super
Well, I
sweet
know
if
it's
you
a
have
basically
the.
like, what is it?
Mike, I asked you on the show to give us
Rose
a couple
inside of
little
one.
fun, fanciful pranks, not to like
And now we
terrorize the
know, like-
streets of fucking Huntsville.
Now there's gonna be some kids gonna listen to the show and they're gonna
You-
like set some cars.
Yeah,
on
what's
fire
next?
by
Flaming
accident.
arrows into windows
You
or
asked,
apples?
you asked Mike
You
to
do
do
apples
pranks.
in the window, dude, not
What?
me.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Another,
if you were there,
another-
we'd have lit on fire.
Another good one is this one takes some strategic planning. So you start in
Strategic.
about
Strategery.
you
I
start,
love that idea already.
You start in August, September, and you just pretty much drive around the city and county and find toilets that people are getting rid of. Like they redoing their bathrooms, so there's a toilet.
Oh yeah.
So they leave them out on the road.
So they just leave them out on the side of the road, and your buddy with the truck or,
Why do you
El
collect these
Camino,
toilets?
you collect the toilets, and then you do. You pretty much, take a shit in it,
Wow.
and
I was thinking this was just going by randomly putting a toilet in someone's front
'Cause that's
yard.
funny.
no,
Yeah,
you,
that's
you,
funny.
you put a toilet. The one thing is, you put the toilet in somebody's yard, and they're like, ha ha, fucking funny. There's the toilet in my front yard, and then it's just like they walk up, and then the shit's been sitting there overnight, and it's pretty damn rank.
Is it better to have like 6 different dudes shit in it?
No,
Oh, that's
no.
That's
That's when you
a
get.
little
That's
too
when
much,
you.
man.
A little
That's,
too much escalation.
that's when you
Yeah,
get like 6
yeah.
different toilets.
Ooh.
The more toilets,
In
the
one.
funnier.
Imagine. So you collect them over the year, and you put 6 toilets
In, like somebody's
out in
yard.
someone's yard filled
Yeah.
with shit.
Or no
Huh.
shit. It's up to you.
I just got a text message. It seems that our company lawyer, that genius, has informed me that I need to say right now that the Rockin' with Rockin' Robbie show and Smile Earls Productions takes no responsibility in any acts performed this Halloween or the night before Halloween, known as Devil's or Mischief Night.
Fire it up. Fire it up.
Do not do what we're saying.
Burn
we're
this mother down.
We're talking
Burn it
about
down.
sinful, terrible people that become jack-o'-lantern heads. So, you mentioned haunted houses earlier. Do we love haunted
Yes.
houses? Of course. That's a huge modern tradition of
haunted houses are the best, dude. You get
Absolutely.
shit totally scared out of you, and you paid for it.
Does anybody know where haunted attractions, how it started?
I mean, I think that the way that started was probably not even really connected to Halloween completely. Mm-hmm. I would say it comes from the spectacle of like the sideshow, where they showed you the deformed babies and jars and that kind of stuff. Where it
Tattooed
was something
lady.
that was meant that you're supposed
Yeah.
to walk through and look at all these things and be scared and
You would pay a fee,
yeah,
and you'd walk through and be shocked and awed and scared and terrified.
yeah.
Absolutely. I believe that is it because technically the history is unknown. Because at some point, somebody turned that into a stable attraction and associated it with Halloween. The earliest known haunted house is the Orton and Spooner Haunted House, and it is referenced in 1915.
1915.
They
Wow.
have that at the Smithsonian, the reference to that. Of course, in the late 60s, early 70s, in Louisville, Kentucky, in Cincinnati, Ohio, JC's started up. That spread in many cities, including Huntsville.
Yeah, I've
we
definitely
grew up
been
going
to the JC's
haunted
haunted
house.
house, man.
Committing sin.
Absent the
in
old
Cincinnati.
airport, and then over near the mall where Sam's took over, and many other places. What was the Toyota plant? Firestone, lots of different places in this town. JC's through their haunted house. It was a big
Yeah.
deal. Now they don't do it anymore, but now we have Disturbia,
Yeah, now we
which is
have
a nationally
very
acclaimed.
giant commercial
Yeah.
type deals going on. It's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah.
So the different types of haunted attractions. There is the haunted house that we're all familiar with.
Yep.
Yes.
There are a modern, more recent introduction into the haunted attraction is the haunted experience.
Right.
Something more like Mike was talking about, where it's more interactive, where there's almost like a scavenger hunt, and some of the places even lead you to a certain point where you then get abducted. Put a fucking pillowcase over your head, abducted, and taken to the actual place. They always start somewhere else and lead you to the actual place.
See,
Oh,
I got
that's
a problem
crazy.
with that because
Because you would hurt someone that tried
I would
to do
go
that, right?
swinging.
Shit, me
I
too.
know.
I'm sure it's just right.
Well, I'm sure you know that going into it.
Yes, I know, but
Oh,
still,
okay.
for the mere fact that it's just like okay, some guys are gonna be coming in about 15 minutes to do this everything, and it's just natural reaction, just to.
Luckily, no one ever put us on scare tactics. But I've seen people on scare tactics just start punching the actors. There's also, of course, haunted hayrides.
Yes, do not punch. Don't punch the.
The
don't
corn
punch the
maze,
people in the
which
haunted
James
house.
mentioned. Usually out of the outskirts of town.
Oh,
So it's, people from the city like us are like, ooh, what's going on? There's the haunted theme park. Six Flags, of course, has the haunted theme park during October.
Yeah, Universal.
There's the home and yard haunts that we talked about. I threw these all the time growing up.
Cemetery tours.
Cemetery tours, ghost walks.
walks.
Absolutely.
Ghost walks. Huntsville has a great one.
And indeed, Maple Hill Cemetery. Fantastic.
Does anybody know where the elephant is buried?
No.
No.
Do you know where the monkey is buried?
There's a big tombstone for the monkey, but the elephant is unmarked.
Are you talking about Miss Baker?
So home haunts, yard haunts. Did any of you guys, when you were children or growing up, do that?
Nope.
Unless you consider Wes's Halloween parties, then yes.
Sometimes. I grew up loving them, and I did them myself through middle school and high school. I loved them. Sometimes we did them in the house. Sometimes we did them outside. It was always fun. Sometimes very elaborate. Sometimes very simple. Something real quick we want to get into. Hell houses. This is the Christian
goodness.
evangelical alternative to the haunted house.
They are meant to scare the
I know me and
hell out
Kevin,
of you.
and I believe James has been to hell houses.
The power
Kevin
of
and I
Christ
grew up
compels you.
in the church, spiritual, religious. Kevin, tell me about the hell house. There are some people right now listening that don't understand what we're talking about.
They are literally meant to scare the hell out of you.
Indeed.
I think the scariest things was the pictures of abortions and remaking in a scene played out by people of like suicide and things like that. So basically, it was like, let's find as many real things that we can talk about that will scare these kids into accepting, Jesus.
It was creepy.
Yeah.
The one I went to,
And tracks. They would give out tracks at them too. So
evil, bloody tracks.
yeah.
They would
Ooh,
mark
tracks.
it on the attraction of haunted houses. And of course, a lot of people in fundamentalist evangelical families can't really celebrate Halloween, as a lot of people do. And so they would go to these things, and what they are is
Well, no.
like they're all the same. The one I went to, we went in, and this teen girl had gotten pregnant by her boyfriend, and he wanted her to have an abortion, and she didn't want to, and they showed pictures of abortions like you mentioned, and then the lights went off, we heard gunshots, and we were led to another room, and the lights came on, it was the same room, but this time there were brains and blood and everything splattered over everywhere. It was so graphic. Like David Fincher's fucking Seven would be bothered by this scene. And basically the boyfriend had killed the girlfriend, pregnant, and they showed all that. Brains everywhere, guts. And then the boyfriend committed suicide, and the police were all there checking out. The bodies were there. It was all gruesome and grotesque. Then we led a little bit further, and we saw the boyfriend burning in hell and being tormented by demons. And then we were led to the creepiest part of it, which was heaven, with all these angels and Jesus floating down and accepting the girl and her unborn child into, and I'm a spiritual person. I'm not against the message behind this thing, but that is just a crazy ass way to try to get that across, is it not? It's the scariest experience I've ever had at a
I
haunted
just
attraction.
love the hypocrisy of the whole thing, though.
Right.
Yeah, no kid.
If
You're not supposed to go out and do Halloweeny things, but we're gonna let you come here,
Yep.
and we're gonna
As long as we end it
disguise
with the
for
heaven
you, so it's
scene.
okay.
And just repackage
positive
it.
message.
Repackage it.
Not really.
No.
They're also very controversial within the community. They were. Not every church can do this.
Yeah.
And it was controversial when my youth group went because they depict scenes of violence, drinking, teenage sex, abortion. They show you pictures of abortions on the wall as you're walking through it, man. It's just that's more
crazy
fucked up
stuff.
than Disturbia. I mean, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean the real stuff is always more gruesome and not cool to you as
I don't
made-up
typically
stuff.
think Halloween is unsafe, so I don't really see the need for safe alternatives, but I'm glad that some of them
Yeah.
do exist to keep the people that aren't into Halloween for the right reasons.
out of your way. Don't
Exactly.
ruin Halloween for you.
I
think it's a
feel
good idea.
it was important to me to do this episode because I feel a lot of people have lost the meaning and spectacle of Halloween. So, all right, any closing thoughts on what you want to say to our listeners as they enjoy their Halloween this week, Maniacal Mike?
If man is 5 and the devil is 6, Then God is 7. This monkey's gone to heaven.
Kinky Kevin, a word to our listeners.
Whew, I just sneezed.
That's pretty good. All right.
James.
Be as wild as you can, but just a little safe. Because we all want to make it to the next one.
Yep.
Exactly. All I can say is they said it. Enjoy Halloween as I did. Watch a horror movie this week. Watch a few.
Couple.
Yeah, watch a few of them. Watch some of the ones that we post up that we watch. Enjoy it. Talk about it. Find a cool costume. Definitely dress up unless you're working in a sweaty party environment.
You know what?
Dress up, go to a party,
Just have fun.
pull some pranks, but don't terrorize the city, please.
Yeah, no flaming stuff.
There's no
Flames.
excuse not to have fun on Halloween. It's an American tradition. Happy Halloween, everybody. I want to thank you. This is Jumpin' and Jivin' James,
All right. See you later.
Maniacal Mike,
Hello.
and Kinky Kevin.
Hey.
We are here at Huntsville Attic. Thanks for listening. I am Rockin' Robbie. This is Rockin' with Rockin' Robbie in Huntsville Attic. I'm being very redundant right now. Happy Halloween, everybody. Thanks for rocking with us. Yes! Woo!
Rocket.